For this video, I'm on page 20 of the textbook, and we are still adding numbers. This time we're going to be adding 3-digit numbers, and they want us to use the break apart strategy to do this. So just to remind you what that is, in your reference notebook, we talked about the break apart method or the break apart strategy, and that's what we're going to be using in this video. So we'll be using this particular method to do addition. And let me just remind you, I know that you may be able to add these numbers in your head just looking at them. That's great if you're able to do that. And certainly on a test, that's what I want you to do. But it's very important that you understand the theory behind the math. So even if you can do the algorithm, if you can do this part with no trouble, you still need to understand the reasoning, because that's the foundation of math later on. So even if you can do these in your head, I would take the time to really understand the way this works. Lesson 7. Use the break apart strategy to add 3-digit numbers. To make adding easier, you can break apart numbers from 100 to 999 into hundreds. Remember, we call those flats. Tens are rods, and ones are cubes. Then add all the hundreds, add all the flats, all the rods, the tens, and all the ones, the cubes. So here's an example. On Friday, 109 people went to see a play. On Saturday, 235 people went to the play. How many people saw the play in all? So my key words here, in all, tell me that I need to add. The numbers that are important are the 109 and the 235. Those are the two numbers that we will be adding together. So here are the steps using the break apart method. Step 1, we break each number into flats, rods, and cubes. And they show us 2 ways to do that. We can do it with this method, where we take the number 109 and we write out 100, 0 tens, 9 ones. And then 235 is 2 hundreds, 3 tens, and 5 ones. You can use words to do that, or you can use expanded form to do that. And that's just a little bit faster. You don't have to write as much. Step 2, you will add the hundreds. So you get 3 hundreds, 3 flats, or you can get the number 300. Then you add the tens, and both of those are showing us how to do that. And then you add the ones. And then you write the total in expanded form. And that's what they've done right here. And so our answer is 344 people saw the play. So let's do a test example. Let's practice this strategy to add these numbers. Now, I know you can use the algorithm and probably know the answer. That's great. The answer is 358. But what I want to know is, can you write this in expanded form? And for this one, I'm going to do both ways, and then starting on the exercises, I will just do one of them, but we'll alternate. So this one, the first method tells me to write these out. So I would say 100, or 1 flat. 2 tens or 2 rods, and 3 ones or 3 cubes. And then I would write 2 hundreds, 3 tens, and 5 ones. So I had just expanded those numbers out using words. And then I'll draw the line because we're getting ready to do the addition part. And I'll add these two. 100 plus 200 makes 3 of the hundreds. And then 2 tens plus 3 tens makes 5 tens. And then 3 plus 5 makes 8 of the ones. And then we will write this in expanded form. We have 3 hundreds plus 5 tens plus 8 ones, and that is 358. Okay, using the other method, let me draw a line so we can get a little separation. So we would have 100 plus 2 tens, that's 20, plus 3 ones, and then 200 plus 3 tens plus 5, and then we would add those pieces together. So 300 plus 50 plus 8 is 358. And that is our final answer. That is option B as in boy. And they're reminding us here that 10 ones or 10 cubes equals 1 ten or 1 rod, and that 10 rods equals 1 flat. So keep those in mind as we do these problems. And I'm thinking right now of a topic in algebra that will require you to do this kind of thing. So this is laying foundation for much more advanced math. And if you understand it here, that more advanced math will be much, much easier. Okay, let's look at page 21 and practice. So the first one says 248 plus 538. So I'm going to come up here and write those down. You could use the algorithm method right here, but I'm going to do what they told us to do in the skill and write these in the break apart method. So I think because the answers are structured that way, I'm going to go ahead and do it that way. So 2 hundreds, 4 tens, and 8 ones. Then 5 hundreds, 3 tens, and 8 ones. And then we're going to add those together. So I end up with 7 hundreds, 7 tens, and 16 ones. And so I like answer D for this one. Now, we can take it a step further. They did not, but let me go ahead just so you know that we can. Because this 16, we could say that that would be 10 ones plus 6 ones. That's 16. And then this 10, let's first of all get rid of this. That 10 would become a rod. So we're going to move that over here in the tens column. And then we would be left with 7 hundreds, 8 tens, and 6 ones. But they did not go that far. They want us to stop at this step where I had it right there. All right, number 2. I'm going to use the break apart method because that's what they want me to do. But I'm going to use the short form this time. I'm going to use the 300s plus the 4 tens, that's 40, plus 4. And then I have 200s plus 6 tens plus 5 ones. And then we will combine. So we get 500s. We get another 100. And then we get a 9. So that leaves us with 600s, 0 tens, 9 ones. So that's 609. And that is option C. Number 3, I have 500, 2 tens, 5 ones, 300, 7 tens, 5 ones, and let's combine. So we have 10, 90, and 800. So that looks like answer B as in boy. And if you wanted to go ahead and finish this, you could combine the 90 and the 10 to get 100. And then 800 plus 100 would be a standard number of 900. All right, this one we have 200s, 7 tens, and 7 ones. And then we have 400, 3 tens, and 7 ones. And so I'm left with 600 plus 100 plus 14. So let's combine our hundreds. We have 6 flats and then another flat to make 7 flats plus 14. And that would be 714. That is option A. And I need to highlight these. I'm losing my place in all this mess. So I have to go back with the answer key and check these. But that makes it a little bit easier to do. All right, this one I have 700s, 7 tens, and 7 ones. And I don't know why. I just failed to put in my plus signs. And then I have 100 plus 3 tens plus 2 ones. And I will make 800s, 109, and then combine those to get 909. And so that would be, this is a little interesting. 900s, 0 tens, and 9 ones. So that answer is going to be D. There are no tens. 900 plus 9 would be 909 as the final answer. All right, number 6. We have 400s, plus 3 tens plus 1 1. Then 400 plus 6 in the tens place and 4 in the ones place. So we have 8 hundreds, 9 tens, and 5 ones, or 8, 9, 5. And that would be answer B as in boy. Then I have 5 hundreds, 0 tens, and 9 ones. Then 200, 0 10, and 4 ones. And when you add those together, you will get 7 hundreds, 0 tens, and 13 ones. So that would become 713. I'm liking answer C on this one. And you could also think of that. Let me go ahead and I should have done this before we did the answer, but we won't go backwards. Because remember that 13 is the same as 1 10 and 3 ones. So that 110 is going to move up here. And there is your 713. All right, this one I have 600, 5 tens, and 5 ones. Then 100, 7 tens, and 8 ones. So when we add those up, we will get 7 hundreds plus 1 2 0 plus 13. And then let's focus just a second right here on that 120, because we know that that is the same as 120. And then I will combine those two flats to get 800 flats, 2 tens, and this one we can also rename. That would give us a 10 and a 3. So that 10, I'm going to take it off of here and move it over here. So we actually end up with 30. And then that 3. So this would be 833. And I like answer B as in boy on this one. Number 9, I have 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 7 ones. 100, 0 tens, and 8 ones. So we would have 400, 2 tens, and 15. So we can rename right here. We get a 10 and a 5. And then I'm going to bring those tens together. So I would be left with 400, 30, and then 5. And that's your answer, 435. I like this break apart strategy. It helps me think through the problem a little bit easier than the algorithm. Okay, on number 10, we have 200s, no 10s, 9 ones, and then we have 300s, 9 10s, and 1 1. So let's do 500, 9 10s, and 10 ones. And so I'm going to take that 10 ones and move it to the tens column. And we're left with 500 plus 100 plus 0. And then I'll combine those hundreds to get 600s plus no ones. That is 600 as the final answer. So this really lets us visualize that renaming process. When rods get rolled into flats and cubes get rolled into rods, and then we get a final answer using mental math. And that's really the point of this exercise, is making us think the correct way.